Let's be honest, there's only one way I can start a Finding Dory review, and that is, of course, the mention of beware the undertow. Okay, let's get on with the real review now. So, I just saw Finding Dory, and quick, basic thoughts. It's good. I definitely don't love it as much as the original Finding Nemo, and the quickest way I think I can explain that is that I don't think Finding Dory was as quote-unquote feels heavy as Finding Nemo. There are emotional moments to it, but I feel that they don't hit or punch as hard as Finding Nemo did. That's not to say it's a bad movie. I think that it's a well-made movie. There's fun jokes, there's good characters, I laughed, I had a good time. But I don't see it as much of a sort of classic type, great family-friendly movie that Finding Nemo was. So, that's the quick thoughts. Getting a little more in depth. So the main plot of the film is that Dory, who has short-term memory loss, all of a sudden has a memory of her family when she was younger. And so she's on a quest to find her family. But in a sense, Finding Dory is also about finding who she used to be and who she was, all about her life. And I think that's an interesting concept for a sequel. This wasn't a movie that I was necessarily thrilled about. Like, if there ever was to be sequels to Pixar movies, it's not one that I would be opposed to, but not one that I'd be rushing to see. So, the fact that it is a well-made movie says something about it, because as we've seen with past Pixar sequels or prequels, the only ones that they can truly succeed at are the Toy Story movies. So this shows that they can venture beyond that. What else can I say overall? I think another reason why I wouldn't like it as much as Finding Nemo is that it's a little less visually stylistic and appealing, because Finding Nemo is a journey across the ocean in Australia, whereas most of the story of Finding Dory, hey, that rhymed, reference to the film, takes place at this marine biology institute sort of theme park. So, since most of it's set there, there's not open ocean scenes. But, again, that's not necessarily a negative, just a comparison I can make. It's kind of very difficult to review a sequel to a film without having to compare it to the original, since obviously they are so closely linked. I think that they did a good job of continuing the character arcs naturally. I never really felt that any conflict between them was forced. It all seemed to make sense, and the characters felt very relatable, so that is a good thing, that the continuity of story was naturally there. The new characters in the film, such as the octopus Hank, I thought they were all very contributing to the story, very funny, had some great moments. I especially liked Hank because he is quite a grumpy character that doesn't want to go along with all of the action and is constantly trying to deter Dory from finding her goal. So he was a good character. I liked him. The part that I really loved, which I don't think many other people will love, is a celebrity cameo. Now, it's not a spoiler to say who it is, but I found out about who it was about 5 minutes before I saw the film, and I think I would have enjoyed or had much more of a reaction to that scene had I not known going in. So I'm not going to say who it is, but I'll just say if you've seen any other of my videos, you may know what some of my favorite films are, and you'll recognize who this actress is. Needless to say, the fact that she played herself was really, really great. I liked it a lot. So, yeah, basically saying who it is, I feel that's kind of like spoiler for Zombieland. I feel that that's like giving people the heads up that Bill Murray is in Zombieland. You know, it's not really a spoiler to the story, but it does kind of ruin sort of the comedy or the fun. So, that's what I can say about that. Let's see. What other random thoughts can we add out there about the film? It's very difficult to review a movie like this because, you know, there aren't any big glaring flaws in it, but there's nothing overly great about it. It's just simply, it's a good movie. You'll enjoy it. Yeah, I thought I would have a lot more in depth to add, as I normally do, but that kind of, I think, reflects my thoughts on the film. Why I say it's a good movie. It's not bad enough to be worth bashing, but I don't think it's really great enough to deserve an in-depth talk. I guess one thing I can add that I observed is I felt that there could have been a little more subtext added for some adult moments that's not meant to be directly explained. Those of you who've seen the film, you'll probably know the scene I'm talking about, where if you were to just think about it conceptually, it would be a lot darker. But since it is explained and detailed to the audience, you know, for the kids, I don't think it comes across as having the inherent tone that I feel it should have had. I know that, you know, it is a film for kids, but at the same time, adding some little darker adult subtext doesn't hurt the film. It just makes it better for a rewatch. I mean, look at Inside Out. That movie was, in a way, made more for adults than it was for kids because adults can relate more to the story of growing up and having your emotions totally control you in ways that you just don't understand, and kids can only sort of imagine what that's like because they haven't experienced it. So Pixar has shown that they can do stuff like that before, and I don't think they delivered with that as much for Finding Dory. I realize that most of my observations are comparisons to other Pixar films, but, I mean, again, since it's just simply a good film, I kind of have to find somewhere to start with. Yeah, in the end, though, I still do recommend the movie. If you liked Finding Nemo, you still will like Finding Dory. And it is a well-made film. You know, it's a good Pixar track record. I don't think they should do anything more with the story. I can't see any conceivable way to go after this. But unfortunately, they probably will, since this movie is currently making a lot of money right now, as we saw with Cars and Cars 2, how we got that right away when that movie also did not need a sequel, you know, much less a James Bond type sequel. So, overall, despite the fact that I keep saying Finding Dory is good, I'm going to bump my final rating for it a little bit higher and say that it is damn good. Because this movie didn't have to be good. Everyone was going to go see this anyways. As soon as the first trailer was released, everyone was talking about how the millennials had to wait for the 90s kids to have their turn, and how it was going to be such a big, great event. But hey, they still made a good movie with it. It's entertaining, it's fun, I like the characters. It's just simply not as classic as the first one, and that's because it's a sequel to a classic movie. It's not really easy to pull that off. The fact that we got 2 great Toy Story sequels was a miracle. So, I think that's about all I can add. And if you do see it, hopefully you understand why I enjoyed the celebrity cameo as much as I did. Anyway, thanks for listening to the ASMR review show, and have a good night.